I am back. Happy 2021. It's been a little while. I definitely, as I started to say, it's been a while. I heard Britney Spears' voice in my head. I can't place the song. Anyway, I have a bunch of new subscribers, so welcome everybody. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. I'll try to do better so that you guys have like current content to watch. Okay, so this video is on the book My Eyes Are Up Here by Laura Zimmerman. As per usual, here goes the summary. Insightful, frank, and funny. My Eyes Are Up Here is a razor-sharp debut about a teenage girl struggling to rediscover her sense of self in the year after her body decided to change all the rules. A monomial is a simple algebraic equation consisting of a single term, 30h, for example. 15-year-old Greer Walsh hasn't been fazed by basic algebra since 5th grade, but for the last year, 30h has felt like an unsolvable equation, one that's made her world a very small, very lonely place. 30h is her bra size, or it was the last time anyone checked. She stopped letting people get close to her with a tape measure a while ago. Ever since everything changed the summer before 9th grade, Greer has felt out of control. She can't control her first impressions, the whispers that follow or the stares that linger after. The best she can do is put on her faithful XXL double X sweatshirt and let her posture and her expectations for other people slump. But people, strangers and friends, seem strangely determined to remind her that life is not supposed to be this way. Despite carefully avoiding physical contact and anything tighter than a puffy coat, Greer finds an unexpected community on the volleyball squad, the team that hugs between every point and wears a uniform so tight that it can squeeze out tears. And then there's Jackson Oates, newly arrived at her school and maybe actually more interested in her banter than her breasts. Laura Zimmerman's debut is both laugh-out-loud funny and beautifully blunt, vulnerable and witty, heartbreaking and hopeful. And it will invite listeners to look carefully at a girl who just wants to be seen for all she is. Okay, so I was really excited to read this book. In my video on boobs in YA, which I will put a link to in the description, I talked about an article that I read that was talking about boobs in YA, just like the title says, and how it really resonated with me because I do not have small boobs, and I have not for as long as I can remember. Regardless of what my weight was, proportionally to my body, my breasts have always been bigger. And, noticeably so. I definitely had like awkward moments, people commenting, and family members always assuming that I should have, obviously need a breast reduction because it has to hurt, and just because it was painful for them, therefore it must be painful for me, or just looking at it, like it just has to be painful, and there were a lot of things that I related to with Greer and a lot that I didn't. And, obviously this happens with anybody's story because no one is going to have there's no monolith story of big boobs and how that touches on people. But literally, because as Greer points out, or as she experiences, having big boobs can sometimes just be a detriment, accidentally brushing against people, knocking things off shelves. It's really quite intense, guys. Anyone who doesn't have, and I think this is also mentioned in the book, people seem to be very obsessed with extremely small chests and extremely big chests, and there's kind of no middle ground. Either people are mocking you for how small your boobs are, mocking you for how big your boobs are, and I feel like the author did a really good job of sort of touching on or describing Greer. There are a lot of things that she does that I did not do. Also, thinking about her bra size, so 30H is definitely proportionally big. In the book, I think she's 32H. But I also kind of wish that she had been bigger, in terms of back size. One reviewer on Goodreads was upset because she was like, it's a big cup size, but it is mitigated by her shape, by her back size. If you look at pictures online, it's really not as big as, say, a 40H. And I feel like there are struggles with each instance, having a smaller frame and carrying the weight of your boobs, having, but so I do wish that for the first book that I read that had, the first YA book that I read, even as an adult, with a character who had big boobs, I do wish that it was closer in size to my own. We had the same cup size, so that was nice. But I really liked Greer's character. I really liked how supportive her friends were. And I really liked, again, just how realistic it is to have both people be supportive and people also kind of not know what to do. There are instances where her mom is like, oh, why don't you just wear this? Or why are your bras so expensive? And Greer feels really awkward because it's like, well, I'm sorry, I can't just go buy something off the rack like you can, I can't just walk into Victoria's Secret. As a kid, for me, I'd walk into Vicky's and they'd measure me and then they just give me whatever the biggest size was, and it wasn't really an accurate fit. Something for me that stood out was Greer had to get the stabilizer, which is this like crazy bra with like all these like hooks and this crazy contraption, right? And she's a little ways from downtown Chicago, I think 45 minutes. And something that a reviewer also pointed out is that with when the book is taking place, if she really did as much research as she did, there are a lot of stores now that sell attractive bras, in bigger sizes. I feel like I definitely understand initially and not really knowing where to go and stuff like that, but even by the end of the book, she's still wearing the stabilizer, which does not sound cute at all. And I feel like it's a good point that's made, about helping her to get comfortable in her body and stuff like that. But she also has clothes, custom made when she's not wearing t-shirts. And again, I feel like there is a lot more available now. And again, as with the time that the book is taking place in, it seems to be, it was published in 2020. It seems like it was taking place around then, 2019, 20. And there's a lot more available now. But honestly, I'm just really excited at the representation. As for the book itself, I really did like it. Someone on Goodreads, I read a lot of reviews before buying the book, after getting the book, before making my review. Somebody noted that there isn't much of a plot, and I do agree with that, but honestly, I really like that. Like, I like just reading about somebody's life and reading about her boob struggles and reading, oh my gosh, I completely related to her walking into a store and you can fit into any of the bottoms, but the top having to like just be completely a different size, and then depending on how it's tailored, it might just be hanging off of your boobs like a tent, and it's just the struggle is so real, guys. It's so real. Jackson was a pretty cool character. I liked that the author made him, he was in touch with his feelings. I liked all of the cast of characters. I liked the people that Greer meets on the volleyball team. And how she starts to come out of her shell, not only with regard to her boobs, but just in other areas, realizing that she can be sort of a mentor character to someone, realizing that, she has more experiences, or that there's more to her than hiding her chest beneath large shirts. And again, it's definitely something I can completely relate to. I remember people have always commented on my boobs. They always have. I'm sure they always will. And it's definitely really annoying. And, I love long winter coats, right? I'd wear these calf length winter coats and I would always keep it on. Now, this is the thing. I'm always cold. So it just sort of worked double for me. I could also I would definitely just like pull it tighter over my chest, just like, I guess to hide beneath it. But then I also have really good posture. So I wasn't like slumping in like Greer was. And so it was a weird sort of juxtaposition. Like I was hiding, but also not hiding. And again, people around me, everyone in my life, like friends, family, would like joke about my boobs. They'd comment, people who saw like, oh my god, wow, they've gotten so big. Or in junior high, I remember somebody was like, damn, Lily, what's your bra size? It was like 6th grade, and that was so awkward. In the article on boobs in YA, something that she said, and this is just a paraphrase, but it's like, it's sort of like your boobs belong to the world, to everybody. Everybody feels like they have a right to comment on it. Family just touching on it. And so I really feel like Greer touched on a lot of that. And again, while I didn't relate to everything, I related to a lot. And I'm really happy that this book is out there, even with, my complaints. Like, I feel like she could have found more like flattering clothes. She could have, with her proximity to Chicago, with the time period that she's in. But I think that the supporting cast of people that she had around her, I really do think that it worked. It worked for the story. Side note, I really loved the appearance of Pirate's Booty. I loved those, they're not like chips, but I love that snack. And I texted an old friend because of it, actually, because she was the one who introduced it to me, and I was like, this is so awesome to see. Jackson was cute. Greer's best friend, whose name Maggie, was also really great. I loved, like, she had like she was a very intense feminist. The volleyball team girls were great. There was some very light representation, but it was there. And yeah, so I thought this book was great. I definitely recommend it. Like I said, it's not like super deep, and there's no real plot line. And to some extent, yes, this is body acceptance, it's very body positive, and to some extent body acceptance. But I feel like it's just kind of Greer's story, you know. And I feel like it definitely leaves you knowing or with an idea of potentially of how things will go, how things will progress, as well as like still leaving you with questions. It's an open-ended ending. Um, but yeah, I think it was definitely a great journey to have gone on, and I 100% recommend. All right, till next time, guys.